Hello, everybody. We're here this time to stay. I hope you are all okay this evening and nice and cozy and warm at home. If we're practicing together for the first time this evening, my name's Vicky and I'm here at the studio in Fitzroy. A couple of props which would be really useful for your yin practice this evening. If you have yoga props at home, like a bolster or a block, take a moment to go in and get them. If you don't, if you have a blanket or a towel, like a beach towel you can use and roll up, that would be really useful, as would a book or a cushion from your sofa, anything that is soft that can maybe give you a little bit of extra height to really release into. So, tough times here in Melbourne. We're definitely living in the uncertain at the moment. I know there's mixed feelings from the people I speak to of relief, of frustration, of worry or anxiety. And today I would love to share with you just a couple of things which I've learned both in my yoga journey and also through studying psychology, ways where we can really help to ground ourselves back in these times of uncertainty, of the unknown. You may like to start by getting comfortable, maybe sitting down on a cushion or a bolster if you've got one, but if you prefer to lie, please do. As you arrive there, just take 3 deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. And take another deep breath in, really fill up. And then let your breath go, big exhale. Another inhale through your nose. Feel some space in your body. Exhale, release your breath. And see if you can regulate your breath a little bit now, breathing in through your nose and out through your nose. We'll start by eavesdropping on our minds. Like you would perhaps if you were sitting in a coffee shop. Those were the days. And there's someone having a really interesting conversation next to you. What's being said? As you start to kind of focus more and more in on that conversation, perhaps there's some aspects which become more apparent. And some things which stick with you or make you think. Can you take a moment just to let those things be there? And quite often when we do this and really assess what's present in our minds, our first reaction is to say, I shouldn't be thinking that. Or there's people who are worse off than me. But can you just take a moment to acknowledge that the thought is present? And know that on some level it's present because it is meaningful to you. Because it's meaningful to you, it matters. Sometimes when we start to acknowledge what's there really matters, a feeling of discomfort can arise. One of the things I've been taught, which has been so useful to really sit with that discomfort, is to begin to think of an inner resource. Perhaps you come to a time or an experience you've had, or maybe something you've seen on a film, which you can see there's been discomfort and security in the same space. So right now for Claire, that's likely to be her starting a class, worrying if it will, and then the Wi-Fi connects perfectly. And in that moment when the Wi-Fi connects perfectly, you can have a big breath out. Finally, you can relax. You can come to your mat and do your practice. Can you think of a time where perhaps that has been the case for you? We'll deepen our breath even more. And you can feel your breath now. The coolness of its touch on your skin as you breathe in. Notice how your body heats your breath. Its touch on your skin as you exhale. As your body breathes for you, can you sense each part of your body which moves with your breath? It's often just isolated to our chest or our abdomen. But actually, in fact, if you feel carefully, you may feel a rise through your neck, your shoulders, your back. Becoming aware of everything that happens in each moment with your breath. As you breathe deeply, begin to scan your body for any areas of tension or tightness. Areas of your body that don't feel quite so good today. Can you stay aware of these things? And in keeping awareness to them, use your yin yoga practice to offer yourself compassion. Yin is the opposite, essentially, of everything we practice in power yoga, where we are strengthening and sweating. If power yoga gives us the sense of an inhale, can you imagine yin yoga giving you the sense of an exhale, a letting go? If you're still seated, you might slowly come down to lay on your back. And you can take a hold of your rolled up towel or blanket or bolster if you have one. We'll start to open up through the back of our body a little bit. So I'd love you to place whatever you're using just below your shoulder blades. If you wear a bra or you know where a bra strap sits, just about there, below the bony part in your back. And then you can come down over it. Your legs are your option, but I'd suggest feeling for either butterfly legs, soles of your feet together, knees out wide. Or the opposite, knees together, feet out wide. So if the soles of the feet together, knees are out wide, you're likely to begin opening through your groin, your inner legs. If you've taken the opposite, it can be a really subtle sensation, but it helps to take compression from your lower back and also creates a little bit of lengthening and stretch down the outer legs and maybe even coming to your IT band and psoas. And quite often when we come to a yin pose initially, we're chasing sensation. If you're thinking right now, but I don't feel anything yet, can you allow yourself to be with that thought? And sometimes not feeling anything is okay. And especially in yin yoga, when the sensation of a pose grows over time, you may find that it builds. So when you remove the prop from underneath your upper back, you'll be able to clearly feel the space you've created. All through today's practice, I would encourage you to move as you need to. If at any point you experience any sensation that feels a little bit too rich, or if you experience any tingling sensations or sharp pain, please come out of the part of the pose that is causing that and find a position where you can just be. And if you're at home and you'd like to take a big breath in, again, feel some space in your body. And you can exhale and really release. Our practice today is focused on opening up through our heart, through our chest and shoulders. And this is useful on so many levels. As the weather gets colder, a lot of us will find us rounding forwards. You may also find if you're at your computer a lot or spending more time watching Netflix or something like that, your posture will also be affected. That perhaps if you think to phrases we hear often, like someone who is wearing the weight of the world on their shoulders are hunched up and forwards. That's what we're trying to counter. And these poses can really help to change not only how we are physically, but in that how our mood feels, how we experience different things which happen. And if your legs are soles of the feet together, knees out wide, you may stay. You may decide that it's time for a change. You can lengthen your legs, almost like you're in Shavasana. If your arms are in a T, they may stay, giving you chest opening. But it may also feel good to lengthen your arms above your head, really stretching around your armpits. We'll be here for about 6 more deep breaths. I'd advise you to slowly draw your knees together, soles of your feet to the ground. And then can you roll over to either side of your body and just slide any blocks or blankets or bolsters from underneath you. Slowly come back to lay on your back. And can you take this rebound in Shavasana, legs out long? Feel for any extra space in your upper back. Can you feel for sending your breath into that space, for really using it? And the purpose of these rebound poses in Yin Yoga, so we can feel the effects that a pose really has on us physically, but also perhaps the effect it has on the freedom of our breath and on the sensation in our body. No matter whether you thought you were in a deep back bend or not, then I'm sure you can sense more vibrancy to your upper back now. Whenever you're ready, you can hug your knees back into your chest if that feels useful for you. You may move side to side and give yourself a little bit of a massage across the ground. And then you can move over to the fetal position on either side of your body. Maybe you use your bicep as a pillow. And then we'll slowly press up to a seat. I'll demonstrate the next pose first, because some of you may have done it before, some of you may not. So it's called broken wing, and it's quite a deep chest opener. So I'd love you to watch me, even if you think you know where you're going from a power yoga class. We hold the pose a bit longer. You may like a different option. So first of all, your right arm, I'd encourage you to bring it straight out from your shoulder, palm face down. I'll show you the same side what your left arm will do. Fingers like a spider underneath your elbow. You can take a big breath in here, create a bit more buoyancy. And then as you breathe out, roll over to your right side of your body. Can you bring your head to either the floor, and if it doesn't get there, a cushion or a block? From here, there's an option to raise your top leg up and step it behind you. That will really intensify the stretch you feel. And if you've come there and you feel nothing, you may prefer to begin with a bent right arm. Your forearm, your bicep out from your shoulder, bent at the elbow. And then when you come over, you're likely to feel a much deeper opening through your chest. I'd really encourage you to have your left hand, fingertips under your elbow to the ceiling. I'll take a few deep breaths here. For anyone this feels mildly uncomfortable in your lower back, just feel for kind of tucking your tailbone gently to your knees. And this is an area where we hold so much stress. Whenever we feel a bit frightened or we take a call which is annoying or have a bit of road rage, one of the first things our body does is hike up from the shoulders and get ready to fight, essentially, in the most primal sense. And therefore, it can be one of the most challenging areas of our body to release. I would love you to check in with your jaw. You might make circles, lick your lips, and softly slide them over one another. If you've been here for a little while, it kind of feels okay. Maybe you've released some of the fascia and connective tissue that was there. You're welcome to take your left hand and bind it behind your back. So you'll reach towards your right hip. You're also welcome to slide any prop that's underneath your head out. And we'll be here for about 6 more breaths. I'll leave you in peace. Whenever you're ready, you might slowly unbind a bound arm on your left side. And then mindfully and so slowly rotate to lay on your front. I'd encourage you to lay with your arms either down by your sides, palm down, or with your palms stacked under your forehead, so your forehead has a cushion on the back of your hands. And from here, can you use these next moments to sense any shift, perhaps any difference in the vibrancy between the left and your right sides of your chest and shoulders? Whenever you're ready, we'll move to the same pose on the other side. So your left arm will come out either long or maybe with a bent elbow. And you can totally come back and change your mind to fit what you need. Your right hand, fingertips down, elbow up. Take a breath in to become buoyant, and then rotate to the left side of your body. As you arrive on the left side of your body, there's an option to step your right foot behind you. Your head may melt to the ground. You may have it up on a block or a cushion. Wherever you are, can you breathe and let go? You can maybe become more aware of any tension you have through your glutes, your toes, your fingers. Can you release? Can you draw back to a spacious and steady breath? Anytime you need to, you might come back to the sensations of your breath. Its touch on your skin. Maybe where in your body you can hear your breath. Your option for your half bind is welcome. Your right arm can wrap behind your back. Please remember, it is only an option. We'll be here for 6 more deep breaths. Whenever you're ready, you may start to unbind your arm very slowly. It's very deep, this pose. You can come back to lay on the front of your body. Your hands might stack under your forehead, or you may prefer to have your arms down by your side in a more neutral position. And give yourself these next few breaths to observe, to again eavesdrop. And can you slow your exhale? And can you take your attention again to the two sides of your chest and shoulders? How do they feel now? And hopefully they feel a little bit more vibrant and awake. Whenever you're ready, we'll come to our next pose. It will be Sphinx. So if you're laying on your front and you'd like to watch me first, you can take your hands in line with your ribs and then just press up to sit on your heels. So if you have a bolster, it would be super useful. If you don't, that's totally okay. You might use some cushions instead. And bring it just about a forearm's distance back from the top of your mat. And then you can lay on down, so the bolster will come in towards your upper ribs. You can bring your elbows just a tiny bit forward of your shoulders. And you can bring your forearms down. So we're basically in a very supported back bend. If you have a block, this might be really nice to place under your forehead, but it's not necessary. It may not even feel good if you have one. Just listen to that. I'd love you to have a little bit of an experiment now. Quite often we come to this, we have our feet together. To open up through the lower back, can you feel for drawing your feet about your mat width or wider? Feel how that changes the sensation of the pose. You might like to really draw your chin towards your sternum and just allow yourself to let go. If you don't have a bolster or a cushion, that's so okay. You can just have your hands down, forearms to the mat. And your pose can still do pretty much the same thing. I'd really love you to soften into this pose. Perhaps you can release more through your jaw, parting your teeth behind your lips, and allowing your tongue to hover, rest just behind your two front teeth. We won't be here for a really long time. If you do have a block under your forehead, maybe you feel for moving your forehead side to side. We have a lot of pressure points across our brow line and especially in our eyebrows. So as you do this, you may suddenly come across somewhere which you think, oh wow, I felt that. And maybe you stay there and allow it to release. Maybe you just enjoy the feeling of having a massage through your brow line. We'll be here for about another minute. I'll give you an option to feel, and I'd only recommend this if you don't have anything going on in your lower back or a history of that. So if you draw your hands out wider than your mat, and when I say that, Russell and Mum, I'm talking to you, please don't do this. Press down through your hands and begin to straighten your arms. You can draw your chin towards your chest and really lengthen your neck. And this can be a really interesting pose to feel your breath. To feel your reaction to the pose. I'm going to be here for about 3 more breaths. You can slowly draw your forearms back down if they were out. Again, find your rebound. You may stack your palms and draw your feet together, perhaps even raising your feet towards the ceiling so your knees are bent. Take a moment to settle and to feel. And then if it feels really good for you to move your legs side to side, you're welcome to do that. You may even listen to any other impulses your body is sending you. It may be a circle through your ankles. Again, maybe it's a nod side to side of your head. And can you sense any shift in sensation through your body after that pose? Whenever you're ready, you can either just roll over to lay on your back. If you'd rather keep your orientation, you can sit up and then lay down so your head stays in the same direction. We'll take a couple of moments on our back, however you like. Knees bent, soles of your feet down. Maybe your legs come out long so you're in the shape of Shavasana. Can you become reaccustomed to the sensation of having your back on your mat? So often we lay down and it's normal. We don't really know what we feel, where we feel. I'd love you to take a sense for, is your tailbone down? Is there a big gap between your back and your mat? Can you soften into that, maybe by pressing down through your sacrum, gently curling up through your tailbone, and drawing your chin to your chest to lengthen your neck. And in doing that, our spine will be more flush with the mat. There'll be less of a curve through it. Our next pose is banana asana. So we'll come to the shape of a banana or a crescent moon. To get there, first of all, can you reach your legs out long? And then lift your arms overhead. Now imagine you're stretching really tall, like you're waking up in the morning. Exhale, release all the tension. Once more like that. Inhale, stretch and engage all your muscles. Exhale through your mouth and release. One more time. Inhale, stretch, scrunch your toes, your legs, your core, your fingers, and your face. Big breath out your mouth, release. And now walk your feet and your hands over towards the right corners of your mat. And as you do that, just take a sense for whereabouts it is that maybe your left hip pops up or your left shoulder, and come back to the space where it doesn't. You may feel like you can soften. Quite often when we come to this, we hold on through our core or our glutes or our knees. Can you let that go? One ankle rolls out to the left, that's okay. I encourage you to explore nestling your left ear towards, or your right ear to your right shoulder. Maybe you cross your left ankle over your right. Maybe you hold on to opposite forearms. In yoga, we have a word, the pratyahara. What it means is withdrawal of our senses. It's often used when we talk about meditation. One way we can start to access one of the easiest senses to withdraw is sight. You think about when you come into situations where you can deeply rest. Sight is usually the first thing we release, like going to bed. And then we often release smell. And as we release these senses, it gives us the opportunity to come deeper into a sense of feeling without all the outside stimulation. I'd love you to focus here on your breath, on its touch. And perhaps you can even sense it's traveling up and down the left side of your body. And you start to let go of feeling touch. And travel to use your sense of sound instead. And it might be useful to cast a net around you first. If there's anything outside, any noise that maybe isn't pleasant, acknowledge it. And then you can bring your sense in to listen to what else is maybe going on in the room around you. It may just be my voice or your heaters. Can you let that go? Your brain will bring you back to my voice when it's time to move on. But for now, can you just listen to your breath? Can you use your exhale to release something else somewhere? Your jaw, your glutes, your toes. Now I leave you to be here for 6 more breaths. You can change the shape of your body as you wish to. Whenever you're ready, if you would like to move on, you can uncross your ankles and your hands and move back to neutral. Your hands can come down to your sides. Allow yourself to just be. Quite often in yoga, we come to a class, we worry that we're not doing the right thing. We worry that we can do it wrong. In reality, we can't do it wrong unless we shut down our body's intuition. So if you have now or ever an impulse to move, to change the shape of your body, please do. It's likely to be something you need. You're welcome to join me in moving to the other side. So first, your legs can come out long and your arms overhead. It helps our muscles to relax when we first take a breath in and stretch really long. Exhale, release through your mouth. Twice more. This time, inhale, stretch and engage your muscles. Big breath out. One more. Inhale, scrunch your toes, your feet, your legs, your glutes, the center of your body and all your facial muscles as tight as you can. Release, big breath out with a sigh. Your hands and your feet can walk to the left of your mat. And again, can you take a moment to feel? When we take a pose on two sides, it's very human to come and believe we'll come to the same place. But habitually, that's not the case usually. And especially if you spend a lot of time carrying babies or handbags. Just listen to what it is that your body needs. It may have a different mobility on this side of the body. When we force that, when we go farther than that initial edge, it can often be when injury can occur. And again, you're welcome to cross your right ankle over your left. Maybe you hold your wrists or your forearms above your head and really allow your chin to nestle towards your left shoulder or collarbone. And can you allow your jaw to relax? And perhaps you can come back to that inner resource. And the purpose of having an inner resource kind of shows us that we can be in a situation that feels scary, and yet things can be okay. It can also show us or help us conjure up not just the situation, but the feeling of things being okay. Can you allow yourself to let go a little bit more? Maybe that's a little bend in your elbows to allow your shoulders to soften away from your ears. Really coming into a state of rest. And you'll be here for about another 12 breaths. And I'll leave you to withdraw the senses you want to kind of float away with the pose, with the sensation. You're welcome to again feel for extending the length of your breath out. And breathing out longer than we inhale is proven to be one of the most effective ways, one of the fastest ways to calm our nervous system. And to reduce our heart rate. And to come back with a kind of a sense of presence. You can stay a little longer or move to a rebound on your back, slowly uncrossing your ankles and your wrists. In your choice, you can lay flat, knees bent or long. Or if you want to come to one side, you're welcome to do that. And just take a moment to again feel what's going on for you right now. I would hope that your breath might feel a little bit more free. We've opened through the back of our heart, the front of our chest, and lengthened through the two sides of our body. I'll offer you one more pose before Shavasana. You can take it or leave it. And if you have a bolster or a rolled up towel, it would be really useful. And you can lay at this time lengthways down your mat. If you have anything going on in your lower back and you've got one thing, having an extra cushion at the base really helps to decompress. So you can place that there. Then come to sit on the cushion and lower yourself back the base of the bolster to your spine. From here, if you want to open your chest, which I would recommend, your arms can come out to either side, your legs. Again, your option, knees together, feet at right distance, around or together. And again, perhaps you just come to listen to your breath, to your heartbeat. I remember when my teacher and class teacher, Jambo, first started telling me about this inner resource. I just didn't get it. And he said to me, can you think of a time or a memory where you've just felt sad or upset and you didn't know why, but you remember the feeling of feeling held? And what came up for me was a memory of being a really small girl on the beach. And I was crying and I don't know why. I don't think anything serious happened. And I remember my grandmother was there and she held out my towel, and then I sat in her lap. And I just remember sitting there and watching the beach and feeling, I was obviously upset, but I felt very safe. And that feeling of feeling safe can bring about in our body a sensation. And that sensation may feel like warmth, may feel like smoothness. It may feel like an exhale. That knowledge that whatever happened, whatever is happening, whatever may happen, it will be okay. You're welcome to stay as you are. If you would like to move to lay on your back or sit for the last few moments, please do. If tonight you'd like longer in Shavasana, you're welcome to mute me now and then move. I'll leave you in stillness for the next few moments. I'll let you know when it's time to come back. If you can stay a little longer as you are, please do. If you need to come out with me, then perhaps you start by taking a deep breath in, a soft sigh out. And you can wiggle your fingers and your toes. You might like to first just listen to what's going on around you. And to sense touch again, your body on your mat. Your clothes on your skin or your hair on your face. And you might like to smell what's going on around you, your own scent. Maybe something that's cooking. And you can slowly add more movement, coming to either side of your body. You can take a really gentle press up to a seat. As you arrive, you're welcome to bring your hands together at your heart center. And I would love you to take a bow of your head towards your hands. And gratitude to yourself for coming to your mat and finding time and space. My teacher, Anna Forrest, always says that you can thank your teachers as much as you want. But really, the greatest teacher you'll ever have are your own experiences. And when you can use your experiences to help you in the present, it's a really powerful thing. Please stay safe, stay well. Thank you for joining us.